Genesis chapter 21 describes significant events in the life of Abraham and Sarah, particularly the birth of Isaac. Before we start, we'd like to ask for your support. If you enjoy our video, please hit the like button. This will help us reach more people and create content for you. Now let's get started with today's video. Genesis chapter 21, an in-depth analysis. Genesis chapter 21 is a pivotal moment in the biblical narrative, encapsulating themes of divine promise, faith, and the complexities of human relationships. This chapter not only marks the fulfillment of God's covenant with Abraham and Sarah, but also highlights the interplay between joy and sorrow, hope and despair. The birth of Isaac. The chapter opens with a profound statement about the faithfulness of God. The Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Genesis 21 verse 1. This verse encapsulates the overarching theme of God's faithfulness. Sarah, who had long been barren, gives birth to Isaac, whose name means laughter. The choice of name is significant, as it reflects the joy and disbelief that accompanied the announcement of his birth. Genesis 18 verses 12 to 15. Sarah's laughter transforms from skepticism to joy, symbolizing the fulfillment of God's promise. Abraham's reaction to Isaac's birth is one of obedience and joy. He names his son Isaac, in accordance with God's command. The act of circumcising Isaac on the 8th day underscores Abraham's commitment to the covenant established with God. This practice signifies a physical mark of belonging to God's chosen people and reinforces the identity of the descendants of Abraham. The significance of Isaac. Isaac's birth is not merely an event, it is a cornerstone in the narrative of salvation history. Through Isaac, the covenant blessings promised to Abraham are set into motion. God had promised Abraham that he would be the father of many nations, Genesis 17 verse 4, and Isaac is the first of these promises being fulfilled. This moment solidifies Abraham's faith and provides a direct line to the lineage that will eventually lead to Israel and, according to Christian belief, to Jesus Christ. Sarah's declaration. Sarah's joy is vividly expressed in her declaration. God has made laughter for me. Everyone who hears will laugh with me. Genesis 21 verse 6. This statement not only conveys her personal joy but also reflects a communal celebration. Isaac's birth is a public testimony of God's miraculous power and the fulfillment of his promises. Sarah's acknowledgement that God has brought joy into her life resonates deeply with the human experience of longing and fulfillment. Hagar and Ishmael. The narrative then shifts to Hagar and her son, Ishmael. After Isaac is weaned, a conflict arises between Sarah and Hagar. Sarah perceives Ishmael mocking Isaac and insists that Abraham send Hagar and Ishmael away. This moment highlights the tension within Abraham's household, stemming from earlier decisions made out of impatience and fear regarding God's promises. Genesis 16. Abraham's distress is palpable. He loves Ishmael, who is his firstborn son, and the command to send them away is painful for him. God intervenes, assuring Abraham, "Do not be distressed because of the boy and because of your maidservant. Whatever Sarah says to you, listen to her." Genesis 21 verse 12. This divine reassurance illustrates God's sovereignty and his care for both Isaac and Ishmael. It emphasizes the importance of divine order and the fulfillment of the covenant through Isaac, while also acknowledging Ishmael's significance as Abraham's son. Hagar's despair. Hagar and Ishmael's departure marks a poignant moment of human despair. As they wander in the wilderness, their resources dwindle, and Hagar finds herself in a dire situation. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Genesis 21 verse 15. Hagar's plight reflects the harsh realities of life, particularly for those marginalized and abandoned. She positions Ishmael under a bush to shield him from the sun and moves away, unable to bear the thought of watching him die. This moment encapsulates the depths of her despair and the feeling of abandonment. Yet, even in this moment of despair, God's presence is not absent. He hears the cries of Ishmael and sends an angel to comfort Hagar. "What troubles you, Hagar? Fear not, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Genesis 21 verse 17. This reassurance is a powerful reminder of God's attentiveness to the cries of the marginalized. God's promise to Hagar that he will make Ishmael a great nation serves to restore hope. Despite the circumstances, there is a future for Ishmael, which God has ordained. The well in the wilderness. The revelation of a well of water provides a significant turning point in Hagar's journey. When she opens her eyes and sees the well, it symbolizes not only physical sustenance but also spiritual renewal. God's provision and care in times of need. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. Genesis 21 verse 19. Hagar fills the skin with water and gives Ishmael a drink. This moment underscores the theme of divine intervention and the assurance that God will provide, even in the bleakest of circumstances. Ishmael's future. God's promise to Hagar about Ishmael's future is critical. He tells her that Ishmael will be a great nation, highlighting that God's covenantal promises extend beyond Isaac. Ishmael, too, has a significant destiny, which is acknowledged in the biblical narrative. This moment signifies that God's love and promises are not limited to one lineage but encompass all of Abraham's descendants. The treaty with Abimelech. The chapter concludes with a shift in focus back to Abraham. After the tumultuous events with Hagar and Ishmael, Abraham enters into a treaty with Abimelech, the king of Gerar. This treaty is centered around a well that Abraham had dug, showcasing the importance of water in sustaining life and community. Abimelech acknowledges Abraham's integrity and seeks to establish a peaceful relationship. The exchange of oaths and the setting apart of 7 ewe lambs serve as a testimony to the treaty. These 7 ewe lambs you will take from my hand, that this may be a witness for me that I dug this well. Genesis 21 verse 30. This act emphasizes the importance of integrity and the need for peaceful coexistence among different peoples. It also reflects God's blessing on Abraham, allowing him to establish a foothold in the land. Themes and significance. Genesis 21 presents a tapestry of themes that resonate throughout the biblical narrative. Divine faithfulness. The fulfillment of God's promise to Abraham and Sarah demonstrates his unwavering commitment to his word. It serves as a reminder that God is faithful, even when circumstances seem impossible. Joy and sorrow. The juxtaposition of Sarah's joy and Hagar's despair highlights the complexities of human experience. Both women represent different facets of motherhood, and their stories intertwine to show that God cares for all his children. Covenant and identity. Isaac's birth establishes the continuation of God's covenant with Abraham. The significance of circumcision and the lineage of Isaac underscore the importance of identity in relation to God's promises. God's care for the marginalized. Hagar's story illustrates God's compassion for those who are marginalized. His attentiveness to her plight serves as a powerful reminder that no one is beyond God's reach. Peaceful relationships. The treaty with Abimelech signifies the importance of maintaining peace and integrity in relationships. It demonstrates that God's blessings extend beyond individual families to encompass communities. Conclusion. Genesis chapter 21 is a rich narrative filled with profound lessons about faith, divine promise, and the complexities of human relationships. The birth of Isaac marks a significant turning point in the biblical story, fulfilling God's promises and setting the stage for the future of Israel. The contrasting experiences of Sarah and Hagar remind us that God's love and care encompass all people, affirming his sovereignty in the unfolding narrative of human history. As we reflect on this chapter, we are encouraged to trust in God's promises, find joy in his provisions, and recognize his presence in both our joys and sorrows. The themes explored in Genesis 21 resonate through the ages, inviting readers to engage with the depth of God's character and his unwavering. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. I hope you like this video. Thank you.